first $1 million gate since the famous Dempsey Tunney long-count battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone's stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my friends? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Boxing matchups with D Free, hashtag TWT, DC. Real Prison Talk with Tommy. Melanin Queen 27. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, The Box Storian. Today, Oscar De La Hoya versus the Legend. And you know what time it is. It's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. It's The Box Storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. And that's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How was everyone today? Tuesday afternoon, still early in the week. Mike Mazik in the building. Salute Mike. Al Booger. Salute Al Booger. It's still early in the week. Today, the legend, versus the Legends series continues with Oscar De La Hoya versus the Legend. The Monster retained his title this morning. Barroso lost. I'm mad, man. They set Barroso up. Sent him all the way over the man won a title eliminator. Never got his title opportunity. All the way to Japan to fight a guy with a 92% knockout rate. They set that man up for failure. So I guess, is that the end of Barroso? We'll see. I'm mad though, man. They set that man up. He deserved the shot when Pitbull got it against Rolly. And then he deserved the shot against Pitbull before Ryo got it. And then he deserved the shot against Ryo. Not over in Japan against some guy with a 92% knockout rate. No, they did Barroso wrong. But that's boxing. We love it, but we can still complain about it. They just did Big Watch wrong. Big Hat / Big Watch. They did him wrong. Yeah, I think, what was it, the 9th round or something when Hiriaka got him out of there? Yeah. So I guess all those champions at 140 have an excuse not to fight him now. But yeah, today we're going to look at Oscar. I got 10 former boxers from different eras. Going to match him up with them like we did Floyd last week and see how it goes. And yeah. Want to see what y'all think, I'm going to drop the link. But you don't have to hit the link. Just, put your let me know in your comments in the chat what you think about these matchups, because, this is what I think about it. That don't make it right. Just for how I think they would go. I want to see how y'all think they would go too. There's some very knowledgeable boxing people in this chat. So yeah, let me know. Either hit the link or put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. Remember that? Put it in the chat. Is it in there? Yeah, man. But I'm upset over how they did Barroso. That was very wrong, man. I guess he won't get his title shot now. Guess they say, well, we're rid of that old guy, rid of his old ass. Went over there and got knocked out. But let's look at it real quick. Monster TJ Doheny, what was it? The 7th round when Monster ended his fight. And, decent card. Boxing in the morning because Japan don't cater to us. They don't go by our time. They're going to put their fights on at their time, on their day, which is Tuesday. And you just got to get up. But the Monster, he's worth getting up for. At the Ariake Arena in Tokyo, there was a bunch of entertaining fights. Headlined by undisputed super bantamweight champion Naoya Inoue. Went up against TJ Doheny. That was the headliner. We know what happened there. What we all thought would happen. Who's at 122 that can challenge the Monster? I don't see anybody there. Or 126, to tell you the truth. Or 130. He probably start running into a little bit of good competition if he made it all the way to 135. But, when Bam beat Juan Francisco Estrada, after the fight, they asked him about a Monster matchup. But Bam didn't have too much to say. But, he's only one weight class in between them. Bam was at 115 his last fight. Monster at 122. So Bam can work his way up there. That would be a good matchup. I would lean Monster right now, But that would be very interesting, Bam and Monster. They're talking about Tank and the Monster. And the Monster and Bam is much closer than Tank and the Monster, right? So yeah, that would be pretty good. I don't know about that. What y'all think? I would lean Bam right now. Blood Raven. What's happening, Blood Raven? Blood Raven says, Oscar is my hero. TBE. You know what that means? The best ever. Okay. And yeah, Blood Raven, I did think that Oscar was the closest Floyd ever came to losing. A lot of people think it was Castillo. I thought it was Oscar. Floyd Sr. even said Oscar won that fight. I thought Floyd pulled it out. But one judge thought Oscar pulled it out too. I thought that was the closest he ever came to losing was Oscar though. But salute, Blood Raven. Welcome to Cash Sports. We're going to be talking about Oscar versus the Legends today. People like the Hitman, Thomas Hearn, most of the same ones we matched Floyd up with last week. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, both Sugar Rays, Leonard and Robinson, Wilfred Benitez, the Hawk. I don't think we had the Hawk against Floyd. No, I don't. But we got the Hawk against Oscar today. Carlos Palomino. Yeah, we didn't do him and Floyd. Who else we got? Oh, I even put Bud in there. Couldn't resist it. Bud against Oscar. We're gonna have that one. Oscar against Bud. We'll get to him. I think that's about it. I got 10 of them. 10 to 12 is what it's going to be. Next week it's going to be Iron Mike Tyson versus the Legends. It's a lot of work, Thomas Hill. You're going to have to help do some of this research. It was your idea. I started over the weekend, didn't finish till about 2 o'clock this morning. But I think it's pretty good, Yeah, that's what I do, research. But I'm serious, Thomas Hill. We have to get together on some of this research. It was your idea, remember? But yeah, we had Toshiki. Oh, here I go. Shimomaki. I think I got that right. Toshiki Shimomaki. I haven't heard the man say the man's name. It's still butchered. He opened the card with a unanimous decision. 97, 92, 96, 93 twice. Went over Ryuya Sugawa. Okay. And then Jin Sasaki. He got his knockout against Bala or something like that. And then we had oh, come on. Andy Hiriaka. Barroso lost. Wow. The only time I cry is Barroso or Tank Blues. Let me get myself together. Okay, yeah. Andy Hiriaka. He extended his unbeaten record to 24-0. Guy had a 92% knockout rate. They set Barroso up for failure, man. They wanted to get rid of the old guy, right? Send him all the way over there to Japan against a guy with a 92% knockout rate, man. Yep, because nobody wanted the old guy to have their belt. But yeah, he got a 9th round stoppage over Barroso, right? Move on from that one because I'm upset about that. He should have been in there against Rayo. Like I was saying at the opening, he should have been there in there against. Well, he should have beat Rolly. He did get that fight. Well, it's not saying Rolly might not have won the fight, but Barroso was ahead, and it was a bad stoppage by Tony Weeks. We all saw it, and then he at least should have got the rematch when he won the title eliminated. Why did they put the man in the title eliminated if they wasn't going to give him a title shot? Pitbull got it. Then, when Pitbull beat Rolly, Barroso should have got that fight. Rayo got it. But I guess he won't get the Rayo fight now because he done lost. That's what they was all hoping for. And they got their wish. But, and we had a few other fights on the card. But it was a pretty good card early in the morning, Morning boxing from Japan. But we're going to start in about 10 minutes with Oscar De La Hoya versus the Legends. And yeah. Cash Sports The Box Story, part of that Fire JBT network. 2 to 4. Yeah, we got the Hitman. We got Sugar Ray Leonard, both Sugar Rays. We got Bud. I threw Bud, couldn't resist that one. Threw Bud and threw old Bud and Budrick in there. We got Wilfred Benitez. Okay. The Hawk. Aaron Pryor. Carlos Palomino against Oscar. And that's about it. Yeah. That's 10, right? Oh, Alexis Arguello. I forgot Alexis. Alexis Arguello. Yeah. Yeah, put Alexis in there. Wilfred Benitez. And there's one more I'm missing. I'm trying to go through my notes and see who the last one was. Who's number 10? That's the summary. We're going to, at the end, Canelo. Yeah, Canelo Alvarez. Put Canelo in there, yeah. Oscar versus Canelo. Okay. And then we're going to sum up Oscar's career at the end because he had just a fire resume, man. When you're talking about a fighter that had a good resume, just say he had one of those Oscar resumes, I mean, when you're talking about Oscar's resume, you don't say who Oscar fought. You say who Oscar didn't fight, man. 'Cause, all of them, man. At 130, 135, Oscar was a killer down there. But he didn't. 130, he left it because he started having issues with the weight. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell y'all the whole show before I get started. Let me stop. Al Booker says Floyd was smart to not do the rematch. I thought Floyd definitely won, but who knows? Yeah, I thought he did too, Al Booker. I'm just saying I thought that was the closest he came to losing. But I did think he pulled it out. His father didn't, though. His father thought Oscar won. But you know, all the people that talk about Castile won. Because Floyd clearly won too. But won, a lot of people think that was the closest he came to losing. I think it was Oscar. Yeah. Thomas Hill said Oscar was doing a lot of windmilling and missing a lot of those punches. But he was landing a lot of them too, T. Hill. You know. But it was an excellent fight. And like Al Booker said, Floyd was smart to not do the rematch. They talked about it, but yeah, we never got it. But that was one of the big pay-per-views. Like yesterday I did the top 10 pay-per-views. That made it, Floyd and Oscar. Floyd had, I think, 4 of the top 5 pay-per-views in history. He had Oscar, Canelo, Conor McGregor, and Manny. Those were the top 4 right there. I think Tyson and somebody was 5. Might have been Holyfield, one of them. But yeah, Floyd had the top 4 pay-per-view fights in history. Mm-hmm. Yep, Floyd Mayweather. He ruled pay-per-view for about a decade or more, man. Yeah. But what's Thomas Hill? What you say? Oscar was killer everywhere. Yeah, he was. Now 160, he was a little in over his death. No, that's tomorrow, T. Hill. I'm gonna call you today. We're gonna get some questions and stuff together. Yeah, tomorrow. Brother Umar, Marvin McDowell. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Trainer. He runs a program called Books and Hooks here in Baltimore. I'll let him tell you about that himself tomorrow. Former boxer too. Yeah. And yeah, that's tomorrow, T. Hill. You didn't miss it. I ain't gonna let you miss it. Because I'm going to need you. I have never interviewed nobody, you know. So, yeah, I'm going to need your help up here with me. Don't worry, T. Hill. I'm not going to let you miss it. If you miss it, I'm going to miss it. Don't worry about that. You ain't going to miss it. No. We're going to get together after the show today, though. I'm going to call you if you're not too busy. And we're going to get some questions together. Yeah. But where was I at? You're talking about Oscar. He was a little out of his depth at 160. Yeah. Went a little too far. I think he should have probably stopped at 164. 154. Because I got Canelo on here. And I think if Oscar and Canelo had met at 160, Oscar probably would destroy him. You know, at 160. But 154 would be a different fight. You know, when I matched him up today, it's 154. Because 160, nah. Canelo all the way. Yeah. Oscar probably should have stopped at 154, you know. But hey, he was he fought everybody, man, you know. And he was just Oscar is the definition that was using that phrase, daring to be great. That's the golden boy there, man. You know, he dared to be great. And like Thomas Hill said, he was great everywhere. From 130 to 160. And he's a champion in 6 divisions. 6 divisions, yeah. 6 division champion, Oscar De La Hoya. And we're going to talk about, I think his legacy a little blemished from Oscar. A lot of young people only know Oscar the promoter, you know, and the fishnet win, you know, drug user. And we're going to talk about it. I'm telling y'all the whole show. But his legacy has been a little blemished since his career in the ring ended, you know. The older people in here know what I'm talking about, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna stop right there because I'll tell the whole show. Let's do this before we start. We're getting ready to start. But first, wait, excuse me for 1 minute. I gotta get my calculator. The knockout rates might come up. You know how I am about knockout rates. 1 second. Be right with you. Okay, I'm back. Hey, guess what? Guess what? I know who is gonna miss the show today. Miss Cass in there knocked out. You won't be seeing any comments from her today. She is in there knocked out. Okay. But let's do this before we get started on today's show. We got our raffle coming up. Let's talk about that real quick, and then we are gonna get down. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. Bear with me. You know how me and technology is. We're not exactly on the same level. Okay. There we go.
It's time for another raffle brought to you by the JBT. Our first item is a new 10th generation iPad with a liquid retina display which shows off beautiful color and has plenty of power for all your handheld computing needs. Great for work, play, or just movies on the go. How much is it to enter, you ask? Just $10. Or you can catch the deal with 3 entries for just $25. It's easy to enter. Just cash app your entries to $JBT Network 1. That's $JBT Network 1. Our second item is a set of Kenichi Bear Bluetooth noise canceling headphones. Great for gaming, movies, or travel. As the second prize in this great raffle. Our third item is a Ninja brand air fryer. Great for all your air frying needs. Cooking healthy with the JBT. So send your entries via Cash App to JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. $10 each or 3 for $25. Put raffle on the comment line and you are entered.
Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get ready to get started on Oscar vs. the Legend. Okay. Yeah, don't forget the raffle. October 12th. That's the day of the Dimitri Bivol Arthur better be at fight. I got Bivol in that one. Let's talk fashion. You see that commercial, Let's Talk Fashion? I got it. I told you, I'm bad with that technology, man. Yeah. I'm going to join you and Hoya Finks on that technological team. I'm not that bad. Well, what's up? Let's Talk Fashion. That's Remo. Time for another Let's Talk Fashion tomorrow at 10 a.m. We're going to be dropping the link today, and hopefully we can get a preview on what's happening on Let's Talk Fashion tomorrow from Remo. Because it's Wednesday again already. Wow. Mike Rim. What's up, Mike? You are just right on time, 2:30. Mike knows what time I start the show. Mm-hmm. So Mike Rimmon's in the building now. Lonnie Lee will be here momentarily. Did everybody have a good Labor Day weekend? Mine was nice and relaxing. You know, chilled out, me and Miss Cass. I think this weekend we got a women's headline on the card from New Zealand. Lonnie Daniels and Ola Tito Alawale, something like that. For Lonnie Daniels, I think she got the WBA Women's Light Heavyweight title. Yeah. And then you know what, the weekend after this one, that's the big Canelo card. That's a good card. Now, I ain't too worried about Canelo and Edgar Berlanga, but We got Danny Garcia and Erislandy Lara. They've been trying to make that fight for a few years. We finally getting that one. Caleb Plant and Trevor McCombie. That should be a good one. McCombie ain't bad. And Cool Boy is making his return on that card. Finally, you know. Remember, Cool Boy Monster was July 26, 2023. I remember the exact date. Remember, Bud and Earl was July 29th, a few days later, 2023. Remember the 2 beatdowns in 1 week? Nobody predicted that. Telling a story if anybody said they predicted both of those 2 beatdowns. I certainly didn't see that coming. But Cool Boy's back in there. The weekend after this one on the Canelo card. And Rolly on there. This is Rolly's first action since he lost his title to Pitbull. I don't know who he's fighting. I did know. But there's Lonnie Lee right there. Lonnie Lee will see the whole show today. I can stop stalling now and get started. Lonnie Lee is in the building right at 2:30. Salute Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. You are going to see every second of today's show. So let's go with today's show. Arthur De La Hoya versus the Legends. Here we go. What's up, Lonnie? You must have crept out of there early today. You did one of my moves. Crept out the back door on him. Okay. Now, here we go. Arthur De La Hoya versus the Legends. Now, boxing fans are always debating about who the best fighters of all time are. And what would happen if the best of the best from different eras met up? Now, it is a conversation that led to the invention of the mythological pound-for-pound ranking. Yep, that's where that came from. People debating, you know, who's the best from this era, who's the best from that era. So they came up with the mythological pound-for-pound ranking. And one of the most interesting things about the sport of boxing is it actually hasn't changed that much throughout its history. You know, compared to other sports, boxing is fundamentally unchanged. For example, boxing isn't a sport where the athletes are constantly attempting to get faster or lift more, right? Boxing has always been about one-on-one competition, using more or less the rules for over 100 years. And that makes it fair to compare the best stars of yesterday with the top stars of today. Makes it a lot easier because it's one-on-one, you know. Team sports, you have to worry about, well, is your teammate going to have a good day or your teammate injured or whatever. Boxing is one-on-one. It's just you in there, right? You got to get it done. So that makes it easier, you know, and it hasn't changed that much. Consider this: George Foreman was fighting 50 years ago in the 1970s, and he was able to come back and compete nearly 20 years later in the 1990s with the likes of Evander Holyfield, one of the top stars of the 90s, of that era, right? Because boxing basically the same sport. And the things you see in today's gyms would not be terribly out of place in boxing gyms 100 years ago. And the few areas where the modern era has changed, you know, like rehydration, dropping or gaining weight, those things weren't as significant years ago because there wasn't this ridiculous situation of all these weight classes bunched up all close together, you know, like we see today. Like you look at 108 junior flyweight and 122 super bantamweight, you got 5 weight classes in there, 14 pounds. You know, it wasn't like that years ago because we didn't have the juniors or the supers. We just had the, you know, the flyweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight on up. So, you know, the weight classes weren't bunched all together then. So it wasn't, fighters did change weight classes, but it wasn't just dropping 2 pounds or just adding 3, just going into another weight class. No, it wasn't like that back then. Now, one benefit of today is protein powders, sports drinks, instead of egg yolk drinks and gallons of water like it was back in the day. But at the same time, fighters from years past trained for 15 rounds, not 12. So protein powders and sports drinks may not have been sufficient. You know, might have needed those egg yolk drinks and those gallons of water. But anyway, One very significant difference between now and the old days is the number of fights. You know, in the old days, the old school fighters had hundreds of fights. It wasn't nothing for a guy to have 200 fights on his resume. Compared to now, fighters average, 30 to 40 fights? So, you know, having all those hundreds of fights, no amount of training, doesn't matter how modernized or advanced it is, compares to actually being in the ring when the lights are turned on. Okay? Now let's take a quick look at Oscar real quick, his career, before we get into these matchups. Take a quick look at the Golden Boy. Anybody come in? The Golden Boy of boxing. Now, Oscar De La Hoya competed from 1992 to 2008, had a 16-year career. His accolades include winning 11 world titles in 6 weight classes, including lineal championships in 3 of them. His nickname, the Golden Boy, was given to him by the media when he competed in for the United States in the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, Spain, where he won the gold medal in the lightweight division. Now, after he turned professional, De La Hoya was awarded the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year in 1995, and he also was its top-rated fighter in the world, pound for pound, in 1997 and 1998. Yes, 97, 98, around that time, Oscar was a destroyer. We're going to talk about it at the end when we go deep into his career. Now, Oscar generated approximately $700 million in pay-per-view income, and he was the top pay-per-view earner before he was passed by Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. And Oscar retired in 2009 following a professional career spanning 16 years. He had a total of 45 fights with 39 wins, 6 losses, 30 wins by way of knockout. And Oscar was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2014. Okay, let's look at these matchups now. Oscar De La Hoya versus the Legend. Okay, let's get started. Ooh, man, them likes are looking good. I used to only get 20 likes now. Got that within the first 30 minutes of the show. I appreciate it. There's Technique. Yeah, Technique, didn't he? He was the top dog for his pay-per-view earnings for a while before Floyd and Manny got him. But salute, Technique. Good to see you today. We getting ready to talk about Oscar versus the Legends. And remember, I need comments in the chat. I'm going to drop the link later. Let me know what y'all think, because this is just what I think. That doesn't make it right. This is just what I think about these matchups. I want to know what y'all think too, because I know I got some serious people that know this boxing game, man. Seriously knowledgeable boxing people in here. I already know that. Where's Joe at? As a matter of fact, I haven't seen Joe in a few days. Okay, but yeah, give me some comments. You don't have to hit the link. Just give me some comments and stuff about what you think about these matchups. But the first one is okay. Oh, that's a couple of old school boxers. That's Joe Gans. So I don't know who that is. I was supposed to show that when I was giving my little talk a little bit about boxing. But the first one is Oscar De La Hoya versus Thomas Hearns. Okay, Oscar De La Hoya versus Thomas Hearns. Let's talk about it. Now, the Hitman versus the Golden Boy would be a very interesting matchup. Okay, you have the long, lanky, and powerful Tommy Hearns against the fast, tough, and game Oscar De La Hoya. Now, both fighters had excellent jabs, quick hands, and strong overall skills. Now, Hearns was a much bigger puncher, especially with his right hand, but Oscar had a powerful left hook of his own. Now, Oscar arguably had the better chin of the two, but the Hitman's power did put away some very strong chins during his career, okay? Now, I would favor Hearns overall due to his reach and power advantage, combined with his boxing skills. But Oscar was a tough, talented fighter, and if Oscar could avoid that right hand of Hearns and get inside with his left hook and fast combinations, he could pull off the win. Now, I would wager this fight to be 70-30 for the Hitman, and it's hard to imagine it going the distance. Prime Tommy Hearns would be too big and too strong for Oscar, but the Golden Boy's toughness and gameness would get the fight into the later rounds, where I would lean towards a Hearns stoppage. Okay, Hitman by late round stoppage on that one. Now, like I said, that's just what I think. I need to know what y'all think about it too. J.A. Dixon. What's up, J.A. Dixon? Salute. Good to see you today, bro. We talking about Oscar against the Legends. Just covered Hitman. What y'all think about that? I got Hitman by late stoppage over Oscar. And Gerald Hattie. What's up, Gerald? What is that, Jarrell? Wow. Salute. How you doing today, bro? I'm glad to have you aboard. Yeah, Hitman by late round stoppage over Oscar. Yeah, 15 rounds. Definitely. You know how Oscar used to gas out at 12 in big fights. Known for doing that. 15, definitely not lasting 15 with the Hitman. Okay. But let's move on to the next one. Salute to J.A. Dixon and Gerald. Okay. Jarrell. Yes, he was. Let's talk fashion. That's what I'm saying. And that would get him late in the fight. It might get him to the cards too. But I can't see it going the distance. Yeah, but thank you, Remo. Yeah, that is a good point. Remo says Oscar was gritty with a motor. That is a very good point there. Okay, who's next? Oscar versus the Legend. Okay, next is the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Okay, now the matchup between Oscar De La Hoya and Roberto Duran is another intriguing one. Both are legendary boxers with unique styles and accomplishments. Known as Manos de Piedra, or the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran was a master pressure fighter with incredible power and a relentless style. He was known for his toughness, stamina, and ability to fight both on the inside and at range. Okay, Duran achieved success across multiple weight divisions, becoming a world champion in 4 different divisions. His most famous victory came against Sugar Ray Leonard in their first fight in 1980, showcasing his skill and tenacity. Now, as far as Duran and the Golden Boy goes, what weight class, Alberga? Lightweight, 135. They both went all the way up. Now, they both went all the way up to, Oscar went to 160. Duran went to light heavyweight, I believe. So it could be a wide range, but I would say 135, Alberga. 135, okay? Because they both went all the way up there. So this could be at a lot of different weights. So, you know, but prime versus prime at 135. Because they both was older when they started getting up high, 154, 160, up in that range. So I would say 135. And to answer your question, Alberga, Technique says he has Duran. Okay? Now, Duran can fight. Now, as far as this fight between these two legends. Now, I lost my place. Okay, here we go. Now, Duran's aggressive, relentless style could put pressure on Oscar, potentially forcing him into a brawl. That's what Duran liked to do. He got Sugar Ray like that, remember? But De La Hoya's speed and technical skills might allow him to keep Duran at bay and score points from a distance, okay? Now, both fighters possess knockout power, but Duran's durability and experience in tough fights could give him an edge in a grueling matchup with Oscar. Now, they fought in different eras, which makes direct comparisons challenging. This is with everybody. But Duran fought in an era with more emphasis on inside fighting, while Oscar benefited from advancements in training and conditioning. Ultimately, the outcome would depend on various factors, including ring size, the rules, the fighter's physical conditions, and their strategies on fight night. Now, if Oscar could maintain distance and utilize his speed, he could win on points. Conversely, if Duran could close the distance and land significant shots, he might secure a late stoppage or win by decision. It's a classic matchup of styles that would be fascinating to watch. At their best, I would lean to Duran by decision over 12 rounds. But in a 15-rounder, I would lean toward a late stoppage by Duran. And let me add this because of Duran's offensive, aggressive, pressure style. Lots of fans underrate Roberto Duran's defense, okay? Plus, Roberto Duran is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter in any generation, okay? So 12 rounds, I got Duran by decision. 15 rounds, I got Duran by late stoppage. 12 to 15 stoppage in a 15-rounder for Duran. BN Boxing News in the building. What's up, BN Boxing News? Oscar versus the Legends today, BN Boxing News. Okay, what we got going on here? Jarrell says, Oscar got the reach over Duran. Ooh, Jarrell's got Oscar's sleeping Duran, okay. Booger got Duran for sure at lightweight. Okay. Jarrell has Oscar sleeping him. Okay. Appreciate y'all. Let's move on to but I had Duran 12 rounds decision, or if it's back in Duran's era, 15 rounds. He's gonna get Oscar out of there between 12 and 15. Okay. Who's next? Okay. Yeah. I finished this morning. You don't get late night, my handwriting gets kind of bad, but this was early when I was doing this part. Oh, Nakes is an interesting one. No, we're not up to Bud yet. Nakes is Sugar Ray. I put Bud on here. I couldn't resist it. Nakes is Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay. Oscar De La Hoya versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, yeah, this is just what I think. I need to know about what y'all. I'm going to drop the link at the end, too. Okay. We're going to talk about a few of Oscar's toughest fights that he actually did fight, too. Okay. Just like we did for every week. Next week is going to be Iron Mike Tyson versus the Legend. Next Tuesday. Okay. Sugar Ray Leonard. Oscar De La Hoya versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay. Jarrell said he loved Duran. I did too. That's one of my favorites, Duran. Now, Oscar De La Hoya versus Sugar Ray Leonard. This fight would be the ultimate pay-per-view blockbuster, plain and simple. Okay. Oscar was a cash cow who is still top 5 as far as earnings from pay-per-view fights. Sugar Ray Leonard was the first prize fighter to earn in excess of $100 million from purses, not endorsements. He was the first to earn over $100 million in purses for Sugar Ray. Okay. Now, Oscar was a 6-division champion and was for a few years the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. Sugar Ray Leonard was the greatest fighter of his generation and won world titles in 5 divisions. Now, a matchup between these two could take place anywhere from 147 to 154. 147, 154 between these two. Okay, for me. Now, while they were two of the most popular boxers ever, I might cause some controversy with this statement. While they were two of the most popular boxers ever, I don't see this fight being all that competitive. Sugar Ray would be too fast for Oscar, and he had a better chin. Oscar was known for fading late in big fights. and that could lead to a late TKO for Sugar Ray. But I think, again, Oscar's toughness and heart would carry him to the cards where he would lose a unanimous decision. You know, a dominant, he would lose a dominant unanimous. I think Sugar Ray would dominate the fight. I don't think it would even be that competitive from beginning to end. Sugar Ray over Oscar by 12 or 15 round unanimous decision. That's what I got on that one. That one was short and sweet. Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the next one, which is old Bud Crawford. Old Bud Crawford. He's about the only one. Well, I got two from this era, Bud. I got Canelo too. Couldn't resist Canelo. You know, Canelo and Oscar. Couldn't resist that one. Yeah. Okay. Oscar De La Hoya versus Terrence Crawford. Dream matchup. Now, we know Oscar was a fantastic fighter, and he would no doubt have given Bud a much tougher fight than Earl Spence did. Oscar would no doubt do better. Oscar ain't going out like that. I'm sorry. That ain't even Oscar's makeup. That ain't Oscar's DNA. He ain't going out like Earl did. No way. Now, Oscar's combination of size, speed, and movement would enable him to have some success early in this matchup. You know, Bud is a good counterpuncher, but he may have difficulty countering early because of Oscar's ability to move in and out of range. Now, ring IQ is where Bud would have a clear and definitive edge in this matchup. And eventually, he would figure Oscar out, you know, like he does everybody. He would figure Oscar out eventually. But Oscar likely would be close on the scorecards, maybe even be in the lead at the halfway point of the fight due to Bud's having his usual slow start. As the fight gets into the second half, Bud would take over. His counters would start to find their mark on Oscar. And Oscar had some struggles with southpaws in his career. For example, Pernell Whitaker, Manny Pacquiao. You know, Oscar didn't have the right hand that usually is so effective against southpaws. Now, by the late rounds between Bud and Oscar, Bud would be in control. Oscar has no plan B, and he's starting to tire. Bud might even score a late knockdown in this fight. But once again, the Golden Boy's gameness and heart would get him to the final bell. Bud by comfortable unanimous decision. And Bud and Oscar. Bud by UD. Okay. Al Booker says, no, not yet, Remo. But, you know, it's boxing. You know, a few different things happen here and there. You know, he could get the nod, you know, but not yet. I'm sorry. I might be favoring the old, but I gave it to Bud too. Unanimous decision over Oscar. Not yet, Remo. But he got some coming. Don't worry. We're only on number 4. I got 10 of them. There you go. Al Booker said he might get Oscar the nod over Bud, Remo. See, 55-45. See, this is just what I think. He got some wins. There's one right there, Al Booker. Al Booker got Oscar. Okay? But with the next one, let's move to the next one. That was number 4. Number 5. Remo, I'm sorry. I think he's still not going to have a win after this one. Sugar Ray, the other Sugar Ray, Robinson. I might be not even realizing that I'm just leaning toward the old guys because, you know, I'm an older guy. But anyway, Sugar Ray Robinson is next. Right? That's what you try to say, Remo. I'm favoring the old guys. Favoritism? That's what Remo said. I'm using favoritism. Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, how would Oscar fare against Mr. Pound for Pound himself? The man that's widely considered the best boxer of all time. Now, Sugar Ray's professional career began in 1940 and ended 25 years later in 1965. and consisted of 199 fights in between, right? Sugar Ray could do it all in the ring, being able to fight any style. He could come out one round brawling, come out the next round counterpunching, and come out the next round fighting on the outside, flicking his jab, right? Robinson would use his formless style to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. He also possessed great speed and precision. Now, having said all that, I don't think Sugar Ray would go in there and overwhelm or completely dominate Oscar, okay? To me, Oscar De La Hoya would be a competitive and solid boxer in any era. So as far as the De La Hoya versus Sugar Robinson matchup, Oscar had a good jab, and he would need to get it working early for him in this fight to set up his educated right hand and potentially slip his left hook in on Sugar Ray. Now, Sugar Ray hit hard, and the way he set traps and mixed it up with his feints would make this fight very interesting early on. Oscar was a very smart and talented fighter, and that educated right hand coming behind his jab would find his mark, and he would have his moments, as he usually did in fights. But Sugar Ray would adjust, and within the first 4 or 5 rounds, figure Oscar out. Then Sugar Ray would dismantle Oscar in the middle rounds, and then go in for the kill late. Sugar Ray Robinson by 10th round knockout. The man's the best ever. What can I say? Sugar Ray Robinson by 10th round knockout. Okay. Remo said he's New York biased publicly. Jarrell says Sugar Ray Robinson probably ruins Oscar's career. He's too legendary. That's what I'm saying, Jarrell. Oscar likes to fight in the trenches. That's not good for Sugar Ray. Not at all. Not at all, Jarrell. That would not be good for Oscar. It would not end well for Oscar. First 4 or 5 rounds, Oscar might have his moments. But after that, Sugar Ray gonna start dismantling him and going for the kill. By the 10th round, he'll have it. Next one. The Hawk. There he is. The Hawk. Aaron Pryor. I just found out last week that he actually had a loss. I thought he had an undefeated career, but nope, he didn't. He actually had a loss in there. I did not know the Hawk had been beaten. Yeah, and it was like one of those guys I had on the what did I call him? Flash in the Pan. One-hit wonders list. The guy that beat the Hawk because he never came anywhere else near a title after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the Hawk, that was late, and he was, in the drug world by then and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't the Hawk that fought Alexis Arguello twice. They said he had a black bottle in the corner. But if you're taking something illegal, why would you put it in a black bottle? Wouldn't it be kind of noticeable? Maybe they're trying to hide the color of it or something. But, if I'm a fighter and I'm taking something illegal, I ain't going to put it in a black bottle. That's going to make them see, what is he drinking out of that black bottle over there? But anyway, Oscar De La Hoya versus Aaron Pryor. Now, Al Booker says, sad to say, I lost my chat. There it is. Sad to say, I haven't really seen Aaron Pryor. Can't call it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Al Booker, you got to go back and look at some old Aaron Pryor, man. Now, the Hawk had an unpredictable and unorthodox style. He threw punches at every possible angle, in every position, and in every direction, even while bending over backwards. And anybody seen the Hawk know I ain't lying. That man could throw punches from anywhere, man, at any time. His flexibility, raw power, natural talent, and boxing sense made this style a deadly combination along with his punches. And he called it pure violence, okay? Pure violence. That's what he called his style. Pure violence. The Hawk, Aaron Pryor. Bear with me for a moment. Like 10 seconds. There we go, yeah. Yeah, pure violence. That's what the Hawk calls his style. Okay. Oh, there's somebody came in. Raider. What's up, Raider? How are you? Great to see you today. Football starts up Thursday. My Ravens play the Chiefs in Kansas City Thursday night. Then they got a football game Friday coming from guess where? Brazil. The NFL is expanding, man. Brazil. They got a fight in Brazil Friday. But the Hawk and Oscar De La Hoya, that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, he could throw punches bending over backwards, right? And now some fans called Pryor a one-trick pony or said he had two left feet and had only one gear. But Pryor was an effective and polished boxer, puncher, if he chose to be, right? If he chose to fight that way. And he could alter his style of fighting on the fly, mid-fight. And while he was a pedal to the metal type of fighter at heart, he could slow the pace of his fights by fighting off the back foot, right? And the Hawk was a much more versatile fighter than he was given credit for being. Now, as far as this fantasy matchup between the Golden Boy and the Hawk goes, okay. Now, Oscar could have some initial success for the first half of the fight, scoring points while keeping Pryor at the end of his reach. Now, that would take a lot of movement. That would take some doing, keeping Aaron Pryor at the end of your reach. But if Pryor can keep up a high pace and keep Oscar working hard for his gains, then I think once the fight gets into the later rounds, Oscar could be in some trouble, especially if it's the 15-round era. I would lean 70-30 in favor of, who do you think, Remo? Unanimous decision for the Hawk. Yeah, because Oscar would have to work hard early, keeping Pryor off of him. And you know how Oscar had a tendency to fade late. He would definitely run out of gas in this fight because that would be a job, keeping the Hawk off of you, man. I don't think anybody ever did it, okay? Because the Hawk would come out there and point that finger, point that glove across the ring, and when that bell rang, he would take off at full speed across the ring and just do that for 15 rounds, man. Just nonstop. Maybe he did have a black bottle over there because that's how he fought. But yeah, unanimous decision for the Hawk. If it's 15, he probably would stop Oscar. Okay. James Brady. What's up, James? Oh, this is your first time, Raider? Appreciate you. Hope it's not your last time. Boxing History. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Part of that Fire JBT network. Just a group of people who love to talk boxing. That's all. They're going. The book they write the names in the last page. Wow. I'm on the second page today, too. But salute James Brady. Good to see you today. He says the Hawk was a bad man. Yes, he was. Okay. We're moving on to the next one now. The Hawk beats Oscar by unanimous decision. Okay. Today is September the 3rd, right? Bear with me for a minute. I got mixed up. Man. September the 3rd. There it is. Okay. Next is we got a couple more. I got 10 of them. You was normally gonna have we had 20 for Floyd, but that's a lot of work, man. You know. Thomas Hill gonna be helping me with this research. It was his idea. Next is Carlos Palomino. He don't mind. It's Carlos. No, that's not Manny Pacquiao. That's Carlos Palomino. Strong resemblance, ain't it? It's Carlos from I think Carlos is Argentina, right? Anybody know? Manny is Philippines. I think Carlos is from Argentina, I believe. But next is Oscar De La Hoya versus Carlos Palomino. Okay? Now, Palomino is a former welterweight champion and a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He was a well-rounded boxer with a sharp left hook and effective body attack. He was known for being intelligent and consistent in the ring. Now, Oscar might get a win this time. Now, Oscar De La Hoya versus Carlos Palomino would be a welterweight battle of two Los Angeles-based former champions. Now, this is a Oscar versus the legend fight where the scheduled amount of rounds would be a significant factor. Now, over 12 rounds, I would favor Oscar. Now, but over 15, it's a much more even fight. But 12 or 15, Palomino stands a good chance. Now, Oscar would outwork Palomino in the early rounds and build a lead on the cards, although the rounds would be tight and highly contested. Now, Palomino did devote time to consistent body punching in his fights. So against Oscar, that would give him a much better chance of slowing the Golden Boy down late and close the gap on the cards. But again, in a 12-round fight, I would favor Oscar. But with Carlos coming on late, I would favor him over 15 rounds. There you go, Remo. 12 rounds Oscar, 15 rounds Carlos Palomino, because he had a serious body attack, and that would cause Oscar to gas. But Oscar could pull it out over 12, but 15, Oscar is going to really fade in those championship rounds, 13, 14, 15. I would have to give it to Carlos over 15. Okay? I would just have to. Blood Raven says nobody sleeps Oscar. Okay. There's a guy by the name of B-Hop. But let's move on. Next is Alexis Arguello. Alexis Arguello. But salute, Blood Raven. Appreciate you and appreciate your comments, bro. 1,000%. There's Alexis. Remo, you got to give me an A+ on that, A++ on that presentation there, man. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I don't know who that is he's fighting. It's not Pryor. No, that's not the Hawk. He had 2 fights against the Hawk. Alexis, he was a 3-division champion, and he went for 4 twice against the Hawk, came up short both times. Yep. Came up short both times. And rest in peace, Alexis. He, I think he killed himself down there in Nicaragua. He had suffered from that, what they call it, pugilistica dementia. Pugilistica dementia, I believe that's what they call it, yeah. And had some troubles in his later life. But Oscar De La Hoya versus Alexis Arguello. Did I get an A++ on that one, Remo? That is beautiful. Now, Arguello had a 27-year professional boxing career from 1968 to 1995. He was a 3-division world champion, falling short 2 times, challenging for a title in his 4th weight division, both times against the Hawk. Now, they called him the Explosive Thin Man. I like that nickname. He had got one of the classic nicknames, the Explosive Thin Man. That one and Benny Leonard, the Ghetto Wizard. Those are my top 2. The Explosive Thin Man and the Ghetto Wizard. Those are my favorite 2 nicknames. But anyway, the Explosive Thin Man never lost any of his world titles in the ring. He relinquished each one of them, each one of his 3 titles in pursuit of titles in higher weight classes. Vacated all of them, never beaten in the ring for any of his titles. Now, he's a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, okay? And Arguello mostly fought a somewhat pressure style. He didn't pressure his opponents like a Joe Frazier or Roberto Duran. He was more like a subtle type pressure, like a Joe Louis, right? And another thing Arguello shared with Joe Louis was that they were vulnerable versus fighters who had fast feet. Now, let's talk about De La Hoya versus Arguello. The Golden Boy versus the Explosive Thin Man. Okay? Melanin Queen. Yeah, appreciate you, Melanin Queen. Yeah, don't forget our raffle, October 12th. 3 first place prizes. Now, Melanin Queen has got it right there for you. Now, the way Arguello couldn't keep Pryor off him makes me wonder if he'd keep Oscar off of him. But then again, Oscar didn't have the same type of pressure and stamina that the Hawk had, right? Because, no way Oscar going to pressure you for 15 rounds like the Hawk did. That just not happened. But prime Oscar at the lower weights in particular was underrated, I think. And I'm leaning Oscar by decision. There you go, Remo. Oscar by decision. But anytime the Golden Boy was facing an A-level fighter, you had to consider his gas tank issues. So a fight over 12 rounds, Oscar gets the nod. But if the fight is 15, over the 15 round distance, Arguello gets the nod. And both wins are by a close split decision. So Oscar versus Arguello, 12 rounds Oscar, 15, Oscar gonna fade in those last 3 rounds, 13, 14, 15. Arguello pulls it out. Okay, let's move on. A couple more. Hope everybody's enjoying the show today. And I really appreciate the engagement I'm getting in the chat, because like I've been saying, this is just what I think. This don't make it right what really happened. And I appreciate y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Technique says, Blood Raven, Arguello was the man, and I wouldn't be surprised. That is true. Or I didn't. Raider, at what weight would this fight? Arguello and Oscar? Oh man, 135. 135. Who asked that? Raider. Yeah, 135 Raider. Because Arguello only had a couple at 140. I think the two with Friday was his only 2 at 140. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I really believe he only had like a couple at 140. So to answer your question, who is it? Check Blood Raider. 135 lightweight. Yeah, Oscar and Arguello. Yeah, 135. Because I really think Arguello only had 2 above 135. It was those 2 fights when he was going for his 4th division against Pryor. He might have had 3 because he might have had a tune-up, or he might have had 1 in between the 2 prior fights. I would have to check, but no more than 3 at 140. Yeah. So 135. To answer your question is 135. But thank you for the question. Blood Raider. Appreciate you. Raider. I'm getting Blood Raven mixed up with Raider. That was Raider. Raider to ask that question. Appreciate it. 135. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a hell of a fight. Technique has Arguello. Yeah, Technique. I got Oscar at 12, Arguello at 15. Because we're talking about fighters. We're matching Oscar up against fighters from the 15-round era. So you would have to consider both of them, It wouldn't be fair to just consider 12 in Oscar's era, because I would have him beaten Arguello. So you have to be fair and go with the 15, because that's what Arguello was used to fight. And I would favor Arguello in 15. But Nate's is Benitez, Wilfred Benitez. Most of the same guys we had against Floyd last week. But next week going to be on Mike Tyson, so we're going to be, none of these guys, we're going up to heavyweight. Tyson against guys like Ali, Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Floyd Patterson, Big George Foreman. We almost got that one. Because like I was telling you yesterday, when Tyson first came out of prison, he fought Peter McNeely, but they was trying to get it to be Big George. And that fight is in the top 10 pay-per-view fights. Tyson and Peter McNeely, his first fight out of prison. Imagine if it would have been Big George. That would be top 5 pay-per-view, yeah. But it didn't happen. But they wanted it to be Big George's first fight. So we'll do the fantasy thing between him and Big George next week, but we almost got it. But I'm going to do the Tyson against George Foreman from the 70s. Yeah, that one. Yeah, Tyson against, not the first Big George, because it was like 2 different George Foremans. It wasn't even like it was the same person. The first one was like, bad interview, always all frowned up. And the second one couldn't stop smiling. So, people that saw both of them was like, That must be just like another guy named George Foreman. That ain't the same George Foreman, you know. But see, I will do Mike Tyson against the first George Foreman next week. But on Mike against the Legends next week. But right now it's Oscar De La Hoya versus Wilfred Benitez. There's Wilfred. Now Wilfred Benitez, at the age of 17, Benitez became the youngest boxer to ever be a world champion, a distinction he still holds to this day. Some of his high school classmates were actually at the fight when he won the championship. You know, who would you rather be, the quarterback of the high school football team or the world boxing champion of the world? I would rather be the world boxing champion because I'm getting paid. Nowadays, the high school quarterback of the football team probably getting paid too. So. But anyway, Wilfred is a 3-time world champion in 3 separate weight divisions. And he is best remembered as a skilled and aggressive fighter with exceptional defensive abilities. He fought in the era of the legendary Four Kings, and he had fights against 3 of them: Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, and Sugar Ray. Never fought Hagler, right? Sugar Ray Leonard. And he came out victorious against Roberto Duran. He lost to Leonard and Hearns. Now, professionally, Benitez compiled a record of 53 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, with 31 knockouts. And he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1996. Now let's talk about him and Oscar. De La Hoya versus Benitez. Again, 12 rounds, I would take Oscar, 15 Benitez, due to Oscar's well-known tendency to fade down the stretch, especially in big fights. Can't say it enough. Either way, 12 or 15, it would be a close, competitive fight because the Golden Boy could compete with the best of his or any era, like I said before. This really is a tough matchup to pick a winner in. I think if they fought 5 times, it would probably be 3-2, one way or the other, you know. Oscar was the stronger of the two with a much better chin. There would be a technical fight. Oscar's punch and chin would make a difference in a close fight. But 13 through 15 would be all Benitez, giving him the edge in a 15-rounder. 12 rounds Oscar, 15 rounds Benitez. 12 rounds Oscar, 15 rounds Benitez. Okay? And last, but certainly not least, had to do this one. One of the face of boxing of today's sport, Canelo Alvarez, along with that killer from Baltimore, Gervonta Tank Davis. Oscar's size advantage is okay, Jarrell. Yeah, 12. But I think 15, Oscar gas tank would fail him. You know, would have to, because it would be a close fight all the way. And after 12, Oscar would take it. But if he had to go those 3 more rounds, Wilfred would pass. Wilfred would edge it out. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point, Jarrell. Oscar's size advantage would edge it. Yeah. Oscar 12 round shutout from Blood Raven. Okay, Blood Raven. Appreciate you. Okay, Canelo. Oscar and Canelo Alvarez. Okay, then we're gonna get some link time. I got a little thing about Oscar I want to touch on, go deep in his career, so let me do this. We're gonna get the link about 3:30. Canelo Alvarez. Oscar De La Hoya versus Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo is the current face of boxing, depending on who you talk to now. If you ask me, you know who I'm gonna say. That monster from Baltimore, Gervonta Tank Davis. Anyway, when you think about the big names in the sport today, Canelo, love him or hate him, he has to be one of the first names that come to mind. Now, he is in his 19th year of competing professionally. He's a veteran of 65 fights, winning 61 with just 2 losses. That can be debated there now. 2 draws and 39 by way of knockout. And Canelo is definitely on track for a first ballot Hall of Fame career. You know, if Canelo is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then why did he even have a Hall of Fame, right? But let's talk about the Golden Boy versus Canelo. The Golden Boy versus Canelo. Now, the ideal weight for this matchup would be 154, junior middleweight division. Although they had three common divisions: 147 welterweight, 154 junior middleweight, and 160 middleweight, right? But today's matchup is at 154. And let's take the Oscar, prime for prime. So we'll take the Oscar from the Fernando Vargas fight and Canelo from the Austin Trout fight. Prime versus prime. That's when they both were at their best. Y'all agree? Oscar from the Fernando Vargas won, and did he fight Fernando twice? And Canelo from the Austin Trout fight. Now, when Booker says 154, Canelo wins. Jarrell says Canelo stops Oscar with no drug cheat. Okay. Now, Oscar would have the advantage of having more big fights experience at 154 because they were at different phases of their careers when they each fought in the division. So that definitely makes 154 very interesting, okay? A very interesting place for the matchup. Now, Canelo likely wouldn't be at his strongest due to the weight cut to make 154 in the first place, right? Now, Oscar might edge out a decision at 54, but I'm not saying Canelo couldn't pull out his own decision there, but I'd lean toward Oscar. Now, like I said, they both also competed at 160 during their careers, and at 160, Canelo stops Oscar and probably dominates him on the way to the stoppage. Yeah, 160. Oscar wouldn't stand a chance against Canelo at 160. No way. Canelo kills him at 160. Just devastating. Canelo win. Bad stoppage. Will says pound for pound is out of question for Canelo. He already lost to Floyd, a smaller man. Okay, good point, Jarrell. Now let's take a deep dive into Oscar's career before I drop the link, okay? Now listen closely now. A lot of younger boxing fans only know of Oscar De La Hoya as the promoter or the guy who Manny Pacquiao destroyed. And Oscar's antics as a promoter and some other aspects of his personal life and his well-publicized dealings with drugs have had a negative effect on his legacy, okay? Now, some people look at Oscar's record without context and don't know history well enough to understand he has one of the greatest resumes ever, okay? That resume contains some wins over some of the biggest names that competed in his era and some losses that shouldn't be on it. For example, that resume should show an excellent win over Tito Trinidad, and it should show that he avenged his loss to Shane Mosley, okay? Now, the casual fan may not be aware of those things, but those who know the truth about Oscar's legendary 16-year career know that at 130, 135, and 140, the Golden Boy was an absolute destroyer. Now at 147, 154, he wasn't that same wrecking ball, but still an exceptional fighter. Now he was out of his depth at 160. That's why I said 160, Canelo would absolutely destroy Oscar. It wouldn't even be a fight. It would be a bad loss. Yeah, very bad loss. Salute D-Free. Oh, he's still saluting Melanie Quick. Salute the D-Free from the winning team. Okay, yeah, 160. He was kind of out of his depth there. Now, Oscar didn't hang around at 130 long enough to really make his mark there because, it ended up being a struggle to make the weight. Like I told you earlier, 130. He went ahead to go up because he was struggling to make the weight. He didn't stay there long enough to make his mark. Now, it was actually at 135 when he really started to shine, right? He annihilated Hoya. Now, listen to these names. If you know about boxing late 90s, early 2000s, listen closely. 135. Oscar annihilated Jorge Paez, Jesse James Legion, and Rafael Ruelas. And he beat up John Molina and Gennaro Hernandez. Rest in peace, Gennaro. Now, Gennaro Hernandez had come up to 130 for the battle of supremacy against Oscar. And Oscar pretty much put on a clinic. I mean, he just gave Gennaro a boxing legend and forced him to quit. The great legendary Gennaro Hernandez to quit. Okay. Now, granted, Gennaro came into the fight with a broken nose, but Oscar was in control all the way, and he gave him a beating, a bad beating. Now, it's hard to believe, but Oscar only had 2 fights at 140, right? That was hard to believe, but he only had 2 fights. He stopped the still dangerous Julio Cesar Chavez, and he won a decision over Miguel Angel Gonzalez at 140. Now, at 147, he destroyed David Kamal. He stopped Julio Cesar Chavez again, and he dominated Hector Camacho. He stopped Patrick Carpenter, Oba Carr, Wilfred Rivera, Daryl Coley, and he won controversial decisions over Ike Corte and Pernell Whitaker. And these are huge mega names from the late 1990s and early 2000s. All these are huge mega names from that era. And Oscar just like ran through them like a pair of scissors cutting through a sheet of paper, man. Yes, he did. Huge mega names from the 1990s and 2000s. Oscar was the pound for pound king around that time. 97, 98, yeah. He was the king. And those of us who were around when he was in his prime, hardcore or casual, remembers Oscar as a phenomenal fighter. In his prime. If you didn't belong in the ring with Oscar, Oscar would dominate you. He let you know you didn't belong in there with him. As someone that saw Oscar perform in the ring in his prime, it's kind of sad sometimes when you hear people refer to him as today's era as a fishnet wearing cokehead, you know, when you really saw Oscar back in the day, you know. And today, too many supporters of boxing are obsessed with undefeated records. But no fighter in history in any era would be undefeated if they all had resumes like the Golden Boy. There you have it. Oscar De La Hoya versus the Legends. Next week, Iron Mike Tyson versus the Legend. Okay, I'm gonna put the link in there. People that want to come up and chop it up about this show. If I get my phone to come on, I'll put the link in. There we go. Okay. Well, I got a backup phone sitting right there. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Next week is Iron Mike Tyson versus the Legend. Okay? People like Big George Foreman. And like I was telling you, it's going to be the George Foreman from the 70s, not the one that came, not the second coming of George Foreman, the one, you know, back in the day. One that Ali did the rope-a-dope on. But George Foreman was the one that destroyed Joe Frazier, knocked him down 6 times and got him up out of there in the second round. That George Foreman. Because I still don't believe it was the same person. I think the 90s was just somebody else named George Foreman. That was not the same guy, man. No way. It was just another boxer. His name happened to be George Foreman. Okay, let me get this link in. That was everybody's Labor Day weekend. Mine was fast, but I enjoyed myself. Me and Miss Cass. Yeah, had a good weekend. Nice and relaxing. Laid back, ate. I missed the fight Saturday. I forgot all about him. Diego Pacheco, right? Yeah. And the Monster this morning. The Monster, what was the 7th round? But Rosso lost. I'm still shedding tears over that, man. Damn. They set him up. You know? Sent him all the way to Japan against a guy with a 92% knockout rate. Rosso should have been in got the rematch with Rolly instead of Pitbull getting his title shot. he should have. Then when Rayo got it against Pitbull, that should have been Barroso, right? Let me do this first. Oh, we're waiting on the link. Okay.
It's time for another raffle brought to you by the JBT. Our first item is a new 10th generation iPad with a liquid retina display which shows off beautiful color and has plenty of power for all your handheld computing needs. Great for work, play, or just movies on the go. How much is it to enter, you ask? Just $10. Or you can catch the deal with 3 entries for just $25.
I'm gonna get you.
It's easy to enter. Just cash app your entries to $ JBT Network 1. That's $ JBT Network 1. Our second item is a set of Kenichi Bear Bluetooth noise canceling headphones. Great for gaming, movies, or travel. As the second prize in this great raffle. Our third item is a Ninja brand air fryer. Great for all your air frying needs. Cooking healthy with the JBT. So send your entries via Cash App to JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. $10 each or 3 for $25. Put raffle on the comment line and you are entered.
Okay. Okay, there we go. I got somebody backstage. Okay, what's up, y'all in Thomas Hill? What's happening, gentlemen? Can y'all hear me?
We got it.
What's happening? Talk to me.
So I wanted to know if you ever did a take on Tank versus some of the legends in the sport.
That's coming. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna do it. That's a good idea. This was just like the second week of it, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah,
How do
my
that?
favorite thing.
You said it's coming. 'Cause I was going to ask, how do that work? Like, do they gotta be retired or?
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but it's coming. Yeah.
I want to see it take on Tank versus Duran, but I don't want to hear what it is right now, though.
Okay.
That's all.
That's a good one. That would definitely be part of it. That is a good one there, Tank versus Duran. Yes, that's one of the two of the top lightweights ever, man. Yeah, them two. Yeah, I think Tank will go down as one of the best once he, retires and everything. No doubt.
Yeah, I think that with Tank. By the way, man, Ja related to Coach Calvin.
Oh, he dropped off. Yeah, huh? I didn't know that. Yeah, he dropped off. Okay. Appreciate you, Ja.
Yeah, but Coach Calvin always exclaimed that you haven't seen the best of Tank. I truly believe that, man, because you only see the best of folks when they put to the test.
That's right.
Then you see whatever they're made of. So in that moment, you'll see if it's all been a facsimile or a facade or if it's the real McCoy, the actual factual. And I mean, that's why more so than anything, I think these matches need to be made. And I mean, I hope that they've been quiet on the Western Front because of the fact that they're still trying to piece together that Loma fight. Now, I know that when they do fight, Loma's going to be washed, even though he arguably beat Devin Haney and clearly knocked out Scambosis, who nobody did him that dirty.
He shouldn't even been in the fight. He got beat by the other guy. What was the guy named before?
Maxie Hughes.
Yeah. He watched Cambosis, remember?
But I thought that if Loma fought him, he would have knocked him out as well too, man. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think that people often slight other fighters in their performances because their hatred or their affection for another fighter.
Yeah,
and that's like salting on folks for no goddamn reason. So I'm not really good with that. I don't like when people do stuff like that. I don't salt on Devin because I rock a little bit more with Tank than I do Devin. I root for all of them. I want all of them to get it and do well as they can. I just use what I see, man. And what I see, I could tell when somebody just has it. And I believe that Tank has it. I believe Abdullah has it. I believe Better Biev has it. I believe that what's her name? Abdullah Mason has it. I believe that certain people, they just boots Ennis. He has it.
That's right.
Like, it just bubbles over and you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, look who they fought. Well, I mean, when you look at who some of these people fight, after they fight them, they go on and do well for the most part. So that means that they've been fighting good people. It's just that you don't value these people as great as you do because it doesn't make your fighter look good.
Right.
And see, we gotta get off of that, man, because ultimately everything gets resolved in the ring, and that's where you're gonna determine whether or not a fighter is the goods or they're not. They can look like the goods, but when they in that moment and they gotta deliver the goods, do they deliver the goods? Exactly. So for me, I hope secretly that they're still putting together this fight with Loma, so that after he knocks Loma out, they can say he was old and washed. And then I hope that they work the fight with Shakur. So after he knocked Shakur out, they gonna say he was overrated. Unfortunately, it's gonna go like that when those are the results. And then move to 140.
The real fans know, the people that count know the deal.
Because honestly, man, when you look at these matchups, these matchups from these hypothetical matchups or these they are great to debate because they are the unknown. Right. You could look, man, but I know one thing. Of lightweights, Duran has got to be one of the greatest to ever grace that town. So like when you're putting people in there with him, chances are they're not gonna favor well against him, man, because he was just so tremendous at that division and his power carried all the way up. Like the man just had heavy hands all the way up. So, no matter what he's gonna bang, and I mean what it looks like.
They had good
Don't
defense.
know if it is.
Underrated because he was such an offensive fighter. His defense was underrated, man.
All facts.
Good defensive fighter too. Whoever Duran was. Mm-hmm.
All facts. So like
schooling Ant McQueen in the building.
Yeah, hopefully they come up. Always good to have the angry man in the building. Oh, I am. And definitely Ant McQueen, because you get nothing but the actual factual. My man don't put no bias into anything he say. He only gives you.
With you. I'm talking to Miss Cass, not you. He leaving out.
Yeah, he only gives you the version of the truth per the facts. So you know what I'm saying? Love to get them up, but I mean, when you place him in there with Duran at that weight class, man, more chances than not he's going to be favored because he just was so great at that weight class. But that's why they get in the ring, and that's why they fight the fights, because hell, Buster Douglas wasn't favored over Mike Tyson, but you see what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that, there was a knockout that didn't get called a knockout, but, that's neither here nor there. When it's all said and done, when they score that fight as it played out, you know what I'm saying? Buster Douglas came out a champion.
What do you think about some of these matchups today, though? Oscar and Hearns. What you think about that one? Oscar and the Hitman.
Well, I love the fighter Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
I always entertained by his fight. He was a tough cookie, man, in that ring. That boy could hit. He was able to place punches well. He attacked the body and he moved pretty well. Yeah. But man, I'm gonna tell you, like Hearns is truly one of them great fighters. And like I said, the great Sugar Ray Leonard, as everybody says, will work over Floyd Mayweather. Well, he was getting worked over by Hearns.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting worked over by Hearns. In the second fight, he definitely lost that second fight. I don't care what nobody
he said it. He admitted
that first fight. He said it. He know. Yeah. He know. Everybody, the commentators know. In the first fight that he fought, man, he was getting blown out even worse than that.
All Hearns had to do was make it to the bell. He would have won it to the call.
And that's why, you know, when you got only 50-something seconds to go, let that man fight for 57 seconds. If he don't make it, oh well, he didn't make it. But at the time, he was more fatigued than beat.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe he can grab on, hold on. Maybe not. Maybe he gets put down. But that dude a champion. He walked in a champion. Let's go. Let him walk out a champion.
That's a good point, man. Yeah. Get that late in the fight, man. You know, you gotta let it go. Big fight like that. And at the era, they wasn't stopping fights like that. And look at the era it was, man. Something was up with that, you know.
And you know, it was the most significant fight of the
we're still talking about it 40 years later almost.
Of the four kings, it was the most significant. It kicked everything off.
Yep.
That fight right there kicked everything off.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I mean, Hearns was a tremendous boxer who had a beautiful jab and who could sting you. He can knock the soul out of you with the right hand.
And at welterweight, man, I don't think he ever fought a fight at welterweight where he didn't have the height and reach advantage, a significant height and reach advantage, you know?
Yeah, so, you know,
6'2".
Depending on where they fight, you know, the fight plays out slightly different, but
yeah,
I'd always go Hearns on that matchup. The other matchups, let's talk about the other matchups.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Remo? Remo's here too. Well, go ahead, T. Nate's was what you think, Remo? Real quick.
Oh yeah, what you think, Remo?
Man,
Hearns and Austin.
I ain't fooling with you, Cass. Cause
you say I'm biased?
Nah, not even that you biased, man. You're a tough matchmaker, man. You keep putting these guys. If you were a matchmaker, these guys would have never made it to the Hall of Fame.
It's against the legends, man.
I ain't
you know,
it, though.
he won a couple of them. He won a couple.
I'm thoroughly entertained because you know what? It made me go do research because I don't be knowing all the names that you call. I'm like, man, you got this man beating him, so let me see what this going on here. I'm just sitting back enjoying, man. And it seems like you're having fun with it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
glad you enjoyed it.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem.
Well, T here, what about it was Oscar and Roberto? We talked about Duran. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard?
Yeah.
Man. Now, I'm a huge Tommy Hearns fan. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I wasn't really big on Sugar Ray Leonard for that only reason. But as a fighter, bro, like, man, I'll tell you what, man, both those fights, him and Tommy Hearns, man, you know, with Oscar De La Hoya, this is the great thing about the matches. They might be worthy of more fights, rematches and trilogies, man. So, you know, it's always a possibility when the talent is that great. And let's not make no mistake about it. Oscar De La Hoya is a very, very talented fighter. Like one of the greats. And what he did at the time that he did, because you talk about what they did and who they went through, well, you start naming who De La Hoya done went through.
Yeah.
Some all-time greats.
Yeah.
Some all-time greats. Maybe not to the scale of the ones that they went through, but man, Tito Trinidad was a Mickey freaking. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Corte, he was tough.
Sugar Shane,
man, at lightweight, please. Sugar Shane is the man.
Chavez was still dangerous too. He beat him twice. Julio Cesar Chavez. Remember, he was still dangerous when Oscar fought him. Remember?
Yeah, but it would have been a better fight. It was the Chavez that Mildred Taylor fought.
It wasn't the Chavez, but you know, he still fought him. He on his resume. Sweet Pea. Now, I thought Sweet Pea beat him.
Sweet Pea did beat him, but that's a great fighter, though, man. Like Sweet Pea, I mean, he will never get the credit that he is deserved, man. Especially given the way that everything fizzled out for him at the end. People gonna hold that against his ring acumen and you know his ring skill set, but Sweet Pea is one of the greatest fighters to ever lace him up. Period, point blank, regardless of weight.
Yep.
So hey. Dang, dog over here just acting a fool. So I'll say this. I believe I would go with Leonard because when Leonard gets you hurt, and
Yeah.
Oscar has shown the ability to be hurt,
Mm-hmm.
his ability to jump on you and find energy at that time is second to none. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like somebody give him a mushroom and he get the star or something, man, and just get the power. And if he ever gets hurt, if he ever gets the chance to hurt De La Hoya, he's gonna put De La Hoya down. And once he puts you down, man, it's like he just gets like charged up and he's ready to go again. Like, yeah, that was the greatest thing about his resiliency, his ability to recover, and his ability to finish was what made Sugar Ray so dang great and what made him so well loved. Besides, you know, he spoke well, he was very eloquent, articulate, and on top of that, he was a good looking dude. So, man, you know, people gravitated to this dude.
Yeah,
But he was getting that,
all that was working for him, you know.
yeah, he get in that ring and he performed, and because of that, I would have to give that fight over to Sugar Ray Leonard. I think he wins by I'd say by late knockout, about round 10.
Yeah, I had decision. Yeah, but that's the possibility too.
I can see decision too, man, because Oscar he a tough hombre.
Yeah, I said his heart.
But we got the great Aunt McQueen up in here.
What's up, Abel?
One half of the casuals. One half of casual for one fourth of casuals.
Both of the casuals in here. Oh yeah, we got Let's Talk Fashion tomorrow too, Remo.
Yeah,
what you got for us tomorrow, Remo? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I'm having a discussion with one of my old classmates that actually moved back to the UK.
Oh man.
And he's giving an insight of just the history of the culture and everything that he's been through coming to Brooklyn, going back out there.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it was a real fun episode where we, you know, divulge into some of the things that we was about in college. In high school, things that we were into like that. And the London accent is just so entertaining. I've been trying to practice it all week.
So they were from the UK. They came over here young and went to high school with you and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then ended up moving back, and then, you know, soaking up the whole New York culture and America music and everything.
Are they in the fashion field, Remo?
No. He's just into the totality of the culture.
Okay. He's gonna be on the show tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a good conversation that we had, man. But I want to throw one at you.
Okay.
Oscar and Zab at 140.
Oscar and Zab. You know, and that's a fight we could have got, I guess. Oscar and Zab at 140. That would be good, man. Man.
I think that's before Zab got distracted.
Yeah, I would have to think about that.
With the lifestyle, being what you had said, you know, Southpaw, you know, Zab lead right hand was a little.
That's right.
And then that left hand, he was more angry at 40, where he used to really hit harder at 40. And I
think I would lean Zab in a close fight, Remo.
You know where I'm gonna go, because I'm
very
biased.
Close fight.
I'll admit my biases. I'm New York biased.
What y'all think about that, Ant and T Hill? I would lean Zab in a very close decision. Yeah. 12 rounds.
I'm gonna let Ant go. And you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there he is. What's up, Ant?
So you pick with it one.
Zab Judah and Oscar De La Hoya at 140. You got any thoughts on that one?
As a New Yorker, I would love to see as a New Yorker, I would love to see Zab win, but I'll lean towards Oscar.
Oscar, okay. What about any other matchups we talked about today on the show? Anything on them?
Oscar and Sugar Ray, I don't know if Sugar Ray stops him.
Okay.
Oscar's a sturdy dude, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, decision.
He's only been stopped once, and you got to look at the quality of the guy he's fought.
That was B-Hop with the liver shot, right?
And that was to the liver. He ain't sparkling.
Yeah, Yes, I was.
And that was at middleweight too.
That's right. That was at 160. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's after he fought the dude, Felix Strum.
Right. Yeah.
So Oscar's a sturdy dude, man. And he's been in there with Fernando Vargas, who can punch.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Mosley, who can punch.
All of
Trinidad,
Trinidad,
who could punch. You know what I mean? You could say Chavez was faded or what have you, but the guy can punch.
He was still dangerous, yeah. Yep. When he
Hector
fought
Camacho, damn good puncher in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? What would you say with prior to the accident, Earl and De La Hoya? Because that'd be his prime, right? Before the accident.
Yeah, I would say so. Earl and De La Hoya, Oscar, by decision.
I don't even know. To be honest with you, it's weird to say this, but I'm not even sure if Errol Spence ever reached his prime.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I think at one point we may have seen the best version of him as he was, but I don't really feel like he reached his prime because you got to take into consideration the car crash was what, over 5 years ago?
Yeah.
At this point, about 19, to be 5 years.
Something like that. Yeah, 2019.
And he's only 33.
Mm-hmm.
So he was around what, 20, 27, 28?
That's a good point.
I think he was about to be entering his prime.
Right. That's something to think about. He was right at his prime when that happened. Yep.
Errol Spence, the car crash to me is kind of like Penny. Like Penny was phenomenal. You remember, like Penny was phenomenal when he was with the Magic. But you can't really say that he reached his prime. We didn't see
the peak
form. Yeah, we didn't see the peak of Penny. But he was special even before he reached his peak. And that's kind of like how I look at Errol Spence. I feel like that the car accident, maybe even some of the lifestyle and some of the decisions he made leading up to that point, kind of robbed him and robbed us as fans of truly seeing him in his prime.
Yeah. You know what, Remo? I was getting ready to do that one too, but then I got to thinking about the accident and everything, and I was like, it wouldn't really be fair to Earl, you know.
That's an interesting conversation, though. That's an interesting take. Yes. That's an interesting take. Well, so being at prime is like 28 to 30, like 31, 32. Is 32 still your prime?
I would believe so.
Okay, so I'm only asking that because I just heard Monster was 31 today.
Depends on the fighter too, you know.
So anyways,
sometimes it depends on the fighter. It depends on the fighter, but I don't think that it's just so much a matter of it just being the age. But you know what they say, the prime is when the physical attributes they marry the mental, like the mental.
When the game slows down.
Exactly. It's kind of like what we've seen with like Jordan in the 90s, like at 95, 96, where he still had the bounce, but then he had developed the efficiency in the mid-range game. Like everything was just efficient. Efficient.
Yeah, I agree. So is Monster in his prime now?
Monster definitely in his prime.
Yeah,
what is Monster? 32, right?
31.
Okay. Yeah, I
believe he is.
Yeah.
Track and you see him, right? Like he's got the intelligence, he's got the IQ, but then when you see him, his attributes, he still looks dynamic. Like he still looks quick. He still looks fast. He doesn't like he's slowed down even a little bit.
Yeah, and with the experience and everything now.
Yeah. And with the experience, right? Yeah.
Definitely in his prime. He might be one of the new ones.
They gotta hurry up with him then and get him the cash cow status. I didn't know he was 31. I thought he was like 28.
Yeah. What y'all think about him and Bam? Because they asked Bam about that, but he didn't say too much about it. But he's at 115, so you think that could be a possibility?
Yeah, because he's cutting down. I mean, Bam definitely can easily fight.
Say it again, T-Hill.
I said, yeah, because he's cutting weight big time, man. Bam usually be much bigger than the people he in the ring with anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's
he
true.
easily can make that fight. Now, whether he can hang with him is
Right.
going to be seen. I mean, I know one thing I like about Bam is the fact that his footwork is pretty damn good, and he takes tremendous angles. But at the same time, I mean, you can't clip him, and you can't get clipped by Inoue solidly. Otherwise, and Inoue is lightning fast, man. So, you know, it'd be a great matchup. There are also other matchups that I would love for him, man. I mean, there is, yeah, for Inoue. I think Junto Nakatani, that's a tremendous, that's a tremendous fight. And then I believe the fight with Ball's kind of tough. I think Figueroa would be a great style clash. And you know, thank you. I think that you know, they can make these fights, man. I mean, just let's get these fights going. And let's find a way to make sure that they get. Man, I put your food up. It's in the refrigerator right here in the bag. So yeah,
it would have to go up for Nick Ball and all those guys.
Well, here's the thing, man. Monster is a big dude, and have you seen his legs, man? He got some big, huge legs, man, especially his calves.
Yeah.
So he's not like lighting a feather type dude, man. Dude is a big dude.
But he don't seem like he have any kind of problem making 122 or anything, you know.
Yeah, diet comes into consideration. They eat different foods too. But what I've noticed is
when you get in that ring, you know, like the weight ain't affecting him or anything at all, you know.
You know, it's time for him to like Remo said, get him to a fight that's going to pretty much put him like to the standard of like, yo, this dude is one of the greats out here. Because his skill set says it. Now it's time for him to get in the ring with something like that.
You think he would have to go up to get to that status?
I think most of the fighters, the only fighter that's below him that I would like to see is Junto. Right. Junto is right around his corner, right around the corner. So, you know, I would love to see him and Junto. I think that fight right there, in Japan, that would be huge. Be huge.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got to see. We got to see. This fight's above, and you know the number one fight that people are gonna talk about because they feel like his skills is just that much better than Tank's is Tank. Let them fight.
But where?
That could happen at 130,
122, one at 135.
Yeah, but 130 is not too far away from both of them.
But how do you know Tank is willing to come down to 130 though?
That fight would do. You want to know how much? You want to know how much money that fight would gross? Because they finally will have somebody that they don't really believe these fighters that they claim he need to fight will beat them, but they truly believe he will beat them. They truly believe like Tank ain't in his class, so they would buy that fight. That fight would sell, and it would sell worldwide.
Would it be a good idea for him to just go straight up? Wouldn't it be wise to fight? At least another fight there before jumping in there with Tank, you know.
No. He would definitely have to he would have to scale up. I wouldn't just throw him in the ring with Tank. He would have to scale up. But I
don't see that happening. Him and Tank.
Okay.
It's just too much. Nope.
I don't see it happening because it's not going to go the way that most people think. But that's a big jump. But there are people that
y'all talking Tank and who?
Monster.
Tank in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Due to what I said before with his age, I didn't know he had that much. His age factor matters.
Yeah.
You don't get another. What's that? 3 years to scale up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not like it's gonna be the next fight. You know, some time gonna have to go by, man.
Because where's he at? He's at 22 or 26?
22. Tank at 35.
Yeah, and you give Tank 3 more years.
Yeah.
At whatever he making per fight. I don't see.
And then in 3 more years, he gonna come down to 130? No way.
Yeah,
That's not happening. The Tank and Monster will not
he's
happen.
30 now, right? Or 30
Yeah.
this year. Yeah, I don't see that.
20. Yeah, he's 29.
No way.
Yeah, nah. You can wrap that one up.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how much. It depends on how much Inoue is actually cutting to make 122. That's the thing that we don't know.
That's true too. That's true. Yeah.
Because we always look at these guys as moving up, but most of the time they're cutting down to make weight.
Scraping down, you mean? Shit.
Yeah, because once upon a time, 122 wasn't even a division. I was having this conversation the other day with my boy Angelo.
Nope.
And we were talking about how a lot of these guys, man, not to slight them in any way, but you say, oh, this guy is a 5-time division champion. These guys who start at the lower weight classes, but those weight classes are only separated by like 3
That's
pounds.
right, man. Like I was saying, 108 to 122, you got 5 weight classes in there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it ain't much to go to those 5 weight classes. That's like 2 weight classes as you get up higher, 14 pounds, So that's a good point, Ed. Yeah.
But I think he's already fought some really good fighters. I just think that the lower weight classes, they aren't promoted the same. So a lot of these guys, they just don't have the notoriety, and the mindset of many of us as fans is if we haven't heard of them, they must not be good.
Yeah, a lot of people think that way.
We equate notoriety to quality oftentimes.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this guy, Marlon Tapales. He must be trash.
Yeah, like why we
I haven't heard of this guy. Yeah, I haven't heard of this guy, Michael Dasmarinas. He must be trash.
Yeah.
Jason Maloney, he's all right. He's not that good. But no, these guys are all good fighters. They're quality fighters. Many of them former champions in their own right. They just haven't had the same promotion.
Yeah, they don't promote them. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. That is exactly what it is. Yeah.
Luis Neri was 35-1, a former champion. If that was anybody else, we'd be saying, "Oh, that's a good fight for this guy." If these guys were at a different weight class, we'd be like, "Oh man, 35-1 is a pretty damn good record." Former champion, we'd be gassing it up. But with these little guys, it's like, who the hell heard of these dudes?
That's true. 35-1 at like 147, everybody would be talking about it. Ready to put him in there with
good fight. Right.
Man, them some small human beings, man. Them dudes walking around like little teenage boys.
Yeah. That's true.
Like horse jockeys.
That's right.
All the way down to 105. Yeah, they are real slight guys, but I don't see Inoue as a slight guy, man. He looks like he's got size on him.
Yeah.
Like I mean, when he got up in the ring with Fulton, he looked like he was the bigger man.
He looked like he was
Bam be putting on some weight in between fights. He look like he working in Mexican kitchen once in a while.
Yeah.
He don't look small, so I don't know how the hell he fight at 118 because off of fighting time, he don't look little.
Okay, gentlemen. Oh, go ahead, Remo.
I just want to say before I jump off of here, man. I've been noticing, man. Don't worry, I've been noticing. All right.
What's that?
Seeing the work you've been putting in.
Oh, okay. I missed Sunday. I had some stuff going on.
I'm noticing. Don't worry, I'm noticing. Taking notes, and doing your thing, man. Keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best.
No problem,
hey,
brother.
T Hill, you gonna be busy like 5 or what is it, 2 o'clock your time, right? Because you're gonna do the interview with me tomorrow, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's a good time to give you a call this afternoon? We're gonna get some questions and stuff going on, okay? What's a good time? Like 5, what's that? Like 2 o'clock out there where you at?
Like 3 o'clock.
5. About an hour from that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So we're gonna get ready to go to Just Do then. It's you got anything, Ant, before we clock out? Is Ant still here?
Yes, sir. The only thing that I got to add is that Oscar De La Hoya, regardless of what we think of the man now, all-time great.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, for sure, man. No doubt about that. Oscar was the man back there, late 90s, early 2000s. He was a killer. I saw the man in action. Yeah.
Like I said, in every weight class and division he was in, he was the man.
Yes, he was.
Not be the man in every single one of them and not be one of the all-time greats. That man was vicious in the ring.
You know, names I was calling out, man, they was all top dogs back in them days. Paez and all of them. John, Molina, Jesse James. What was his last? I forgot his last name. Huh? Yeah, all of that. Yeah, that's right. All those guys, man. And Julio Cesar Chavez. Chavez wasn't the Chavez, but he was still dangerous when Oscar fought him, man. Yeah.
Well, that's true. He's still a great, but he wasn't as great as
the Chavez.
Just like when Pacquiao sparked De La Hoya. De La Hoya wasn't his greatest at that time.
No, he wasn't. You know
what I'm saying? That's why they had to stop the fight, man, because it wasn't going to be competitive because, he just didn't have it no more. But that don't take from what he was, man. Like I say,
not at all.
Hey, fruit is an example of it, man. You can pick fruit when it's ripe and it's great. It's beneficial to you when it starts to get old. It just don't taste as good. And eventually, it's no longer to be consumed. Sometimes you just got to shut it down, and that was a shut it down fight. You got to shut it down, man. You've had a great career. Can't nobody take anything away from you. Not nobody, because there was not nobody you weren't willing to fight. You fought everybody that came across that thing. So,
everybody.
Hey, I agree with it wholeheartedly. That man's one of the greats. No doubt about it.
Yeah. But okay, T Hill. I'm going to give you a call in a little while, man. We're going to get ready for tomorrow.
For sure. I'm thinking about trying to see if we can get Ant up there as well, too.
Say it again?
Trying to see if we can get Ant up there as well, too.
Okay, that'll work, man.
That'll work. Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right, then.
Yeah, okay. I'll be in touch in a little while, and we'll sort all that out, okay?
Sounds good. All right, then. Great show.
Appreciate you. Thomas Hill, Ant McQueen, Rebo. And now it's time for the voice of these streets. Just Do Boxing. Tomorrow is supposed to be the interview we're doing with Marvin McDowell, regular on the Old Timers Show. Everybody know him from that, right? The Old Timers Show on Sundays.
They're gonna really get to know.
Yep.
Right there, my brother.
Yes, sir, T Hill. Appreciate you. And that'll be tomorrow, because if it's Monday through Friday at 2:00, it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. And salute Just Do Boxing was in the building. I didn't even see Just Do come in. That's where we're getting ready to go to. Just Do Boxing, Ant McQueen, William Old School of Rant, James Brady, Abel, Ace. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm reading yesterday's. Well, let me do this. Let's just get out of here. It's time for Just Do Boxing. We know who was in the building today. And I appreciate everybody that was here. Tomorrow is going to be Marvin McDowell interview. And I will talk to everybody then. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Remember, next week is Iron Mike Tyson against the legend. Okay? Oh, there it is. Just Do Boxing, Ant McQueen, William Old School of Rant, Jaw, James Brady, Raider, BN Boxing News, Jarrell Hattie, J.A. Dixon, Technique, Lonnie Lee, #JBT, Mike Rim, Let's Talk Fashion, #JBT, Blood Raven, Al Booger, Mike Mazik, Real Prison Talk with Tommy. D-Free. Boxing matchups with D-Free. Hashtag TWTDC from the winning team. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. And I appreciate Thomas Hill and McQueen and Remo from Let's Talk Fashion. Don't miss Let's Talk Fashion tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Everybody have a great day. Just do boxing straight ahead. I'm Cass Sports.